Good morning. It's Sunday morning. I haven't blogged yet, video blogged, about an issue that's come to the national attention, and that is Arizona's restricting abortion bill, which the Senate, which the governor signed, which means that it will go into law. Not yet, there's still problems, but the major hurdles is past the Senate and the House and the governor. Well, in it, Arizona it has been said nationally that this is the strictest abortion restrictions that have been passed by any of the states. There are 7 of them who have restricted abortion in similar ways that Arizona is trying to do right now. And to me, this is a wonderful development. It's because it's not all the way, it's just to 20 weeks. After 20 weeks, abortion would be denied. And I think that we've got so many different opinions, so many people, women who have grown up with the idea that abortion was a right, a woman's right somehow should be, and all of our older people who lived in the days when abortion was illegal by most of the states. And I've been a protester for many years. Why? Because to me, a woman's right doesn't take precedence over the child. Both should have the right to live, because the mother is the primary protector of the child in the womb. So when we have the mother not, you know, the atmosphere has changed so much. Before, you used to always think of the mother and the baby, the mother, the baby, and the baby always came into it. Now we have these mysterious articles where abortion is never mentioned because, you know, it's doesn't want to create a false image, so they're talking all around it all the time and don't mention abortion itself unless they have to. And they're always talking about what they're trying to take away, the contraceptives. Well, you've got to understand that the people who are against the contraceptives, and we've never really had a detailed public revealing of what is in a birth control pill. And
Miss, may I?
Yes.
Pretty much know what's in there.
What is? And I had just recently, you know, I'd questioned my sister who was a nurse, and she also had Planned Parenthood clinic. She was operating under as a nurse practitioner in her own clinic. And I said, well, what's the difference between an abortion, a preventive pill than the abortion pill? Well, she didn't quite seem to know what the difference was. But one of our recent Republican candidates, who's an obstetrician, said that basically they both contain the same hormonal materials that prevent abortion. And this is too close to abortion for some of the religion. And go back and understand why. You know, when a woman decides that she's only her right to live should be considered, not the child's, you know, that woman is giving up a whole lot that she may not even know she's giving up. But she's giving up a belief in the spirit that you're taught in all religions, basically. I you know, I have psychic abilities. Well, if it weren't for the spirit, I wouldn't be receiving any psychic messages. For example, I dreamed one night that a phone call came, and the phone call was from a spirit. I knew it as soon as the phone rang. And I answered the phone, and in my dream, and this woman said, "I am this woman's aunt who is in a lot of trouble, and she's one of your good friends, and she is going to die." And she told me when. That she was going to die in an intersection on a certain street, Bell Road. And I was just flummoxed, you know. I thought, she's a friend. Who in the world could that be? And I thought of all my friends and just didn't fit the, I just couldn't see. Every time I, you know, in my mind I would say friend.
Flummox. How do you spell flummox? I'm looking it up in the dictionary.
Yeah, he's interested in the big words that I use. He's very impressed.
Flummox. Well, I'm
But
bedazzled.
anyway,
You were bamboozling me with those flummoxian words.
But anyway, and sure enough, you know, I went on, and finally, and at the time, I was working in my sister's bar, and a woman came in every day,
Wait a minute.
every single day.
You don't drink, you don't smoke. What are you, what business?
I know, but it was my sister.
What business do you have
And
to be in a
she
bar?
asked me to work there, and I thought, well, this is a good time for me to study drinkers. I was, you know, studying drinkers.
Well, that's what I did.
And it was quite
I
a
went to a bar,
disastrous
I
experience,
studied.
because I would find myself the only sober one in the whole bunch, even my sister. And when I detected that she was simply sampling a little bit out of her bottle, I told her, I said, this is it, no more. It was quite illuminating to be a bartender for 8 months. I found out a lot about.
I bet you were just one of the most fun people to be in a bar.
I was, and
Yeah,
that was
folks,
another problem.
We have Father
Guns went off,
Joseph
you know, it
over
was-
here who watches the door, and Sister Mary Ellen behind the bar. Enjoy yourself.
Right. Well, I didn't know that. They only found it out gradually when I felt like saying to quite a number of them, "You should quit drinking." Really, you really should quit drinking.
That's the worst thing you can. Yes. I believe I make my money on money coming across the bar, but I don't want to see any of your money coming across the bar anymore, because you should stop drinking.
But anyway, this woman, and I didn't think of her as a friend, which you know, later, when she died in the intersection on Bell Road, there was a flood, and her car killed, and she sat there and ran her car, and she didn't know that water was coming up into the exhaust, and she died of carbon monoxide. But she was, you know, pretty looped. I mean, she drank every day. And I felt so bad. They also told me that a baby was going to be with her, and that was another baffling thing about what the aunt told me. But there was a puppy with her, died with her. So I felt very bad to think that I didn't think of her as a friend.
Wait a second now.
She would be a logical one to be in danger.
There was a puppy?
I just didn't think, you know, she got a
The puppy was dead?
So, for me to question, there's an aunt over there who's concerned and was able to come through to me because of me having this radar where I could pick up, like just her coming in the bar every day, I would have been able to pick up what the spiritual spirits around her and what they were saying that came into my mind. So there's just no question about me ever believing that we don't have a spirit and we don't go somewhere. And so for me, when abortion was legalized, I thought, oh no, now we are denying the child the right to live. from conception, because that child is created. There's no way you can ever uncreate a child. And the child will go, as anybody does, to the other side to be cared for on the other side. So when a mother
yeah, but you're kicking a dead horse here, okay?
Yeah, it's dead to you. It was always dead to you. You've never had
on television the other day, folks. There's a female Politico from Oklahoma who has now putting a bill up that sperm, a man's sperm, should not go anywhere, leaving his body unless it's heading right into a vagina.
Okay, say that for your blog, would you? You're wasting valuable time here. That story.
Sperm is sacred.
Yeah.
We saw the meaning of life.
Well, so we've got a whole nation of all different kinds of ideas about this. Now here, this was printed in my paper yesterday, and 3 legislators that had formerly been Republican were defending Planned Parenthood. They were saying that the legislators were they weren't concentrating on the economy. You know, concentrating on the economy, people like to concentrate on the spirit. That is a source of joy to a lot of people. They like to study the spirit. They like to try to understand what we're doing here. And it's certainly not, you know, studying the economy and all the reasons why we have a depression and what has happened.
Hello.
Now that's some pretty grim stuff sometimes.
Hello.
What?
I don't mean to interrupt your tirade here, but I believe the Republican nominee had a little talk with his wife and says, what is the most important thing? And she said, the economy. Notice the spirit did not come.
Yes, but this was also a lady who stayed home and raised her children, so she would put, yes. But every time there is a bill with restrictions, there's always the argument brought out. You're concentrating on the wrong thing. In other words, it's just like, you should just concentrate it wholly on our problem, which they perceive as being the economy, and not get into women's issues. Well, women's issues are everybody's issue, and everybody has a different view and a different belief. They've come to different beliefs that haven't been proved exactly.
That's right.
Me, I can't see any reason why people wouldn't think many manifestations of the spirit weren't proof enough, but some people, no, you cannot. And people are getting less and less imaginative because of trying to have
Why is it that they don't ever come and visit me?
Trying to have a law that doesn't consider the rights of the unborn, not yet born. They've been created, and so to me, it's a wonderful thing that Arizona is finding, through all of this, through all objections, all the people that think differently, they have managed to pass restrictions limiting women to just 20 weeks. Now that's coming down, and that's also serving notice on everyone. We need to think about the problems of having these children. How are we going to take care of them when people, you know, what do we want to do in restricting abortion? Do we want to go all the way and restrict it completely?
Are you still taking those birth control pills? Because, you know, I'm a little concerned.
But
I don't want to be a parent at my age. I'm too old.
Well, you'll have to put up with his irrelevant remarks, because, you know, that's another thing we have is irrelevant remarks. People who just can't concentrate on the problem at hand. But I'm patient with him, just like I'm patient with a lot of people out there. I had to quit blogging because I got chronic fatigue. I had to go off the front line, you might say. I had to say, well, I'm just too old. I can't cut it. You know, I can't write a written blog. The only way I'm going to blog is through a video blog, so I can tell you what I'm still thinking.
Okay.
And I am
You've had chronic fatigue since you're 20 years old.
Since I was 11. And
So I lied.
and so
11?
I haven't, I've been waiting to talk about Arizona doing this, and I thought that's progress. Whether, there's women who disagree, women who think this is an attack on Planned Parenthood, and
Still 1 minute warning.
so anyway, to me it means we're making progress. We're making progress. The people that need to come out there and be heard and let their opinions count are doing it. They are, the hardest thing in the world actually is to come up against lack of belief with a belief that's hard to prove, that children do have a life just like we do, and we don't let parents kill their kids even if they want to, and we prevent that. We try to prevent that, and abortion has always been something we tried to prevent, but one of the main reasons is because it would kill the woman. A lot of times we had no antibiotics back in my day. As soon as they were invented, then abortion was going to be very, very tempting. And it was going to be tempting to those who believed in it, who were going to promote it, who thought that, and these were people, had to be, that didn't have belief. They did not have a belief in the Spirit. They did not believe that it was the here and the now that counts. And if the woman feels pressured, it's her that should be considered. Not that every woman has to learn to be responsible. We hadn't solved all the problems of birth control by any means when I was young. Not by any means. People were still having huge families. They couldn't really afford it. We were still struggling very hard with the idea of how we're going to control our families. How are we going to be responsible parents? So we just still had a lot of problems to solve, and we still do. But we're making progress. Okay. He turned the lights off, which means bye-bye. I'm getting along with him now.
Yeah,
I have chronic fatigue. I'm not able to fight anymore.
That's right. I love it. I want to get chronic fatigue one day myself, too. With a little luck, I'll get it, too.
Okay, turn it off, please.
All right. Now,
this is fine.
I told you time was up. You wouldn't believe it, would you?
Yes.